Alright, in this video, I've got a Kwikset smart key cylinder. You can tell it's a smart key because it has that little hole right there for your learn tool to be inserted in. And say you got a key that works for it. It's normally can still be on the door. So this key works. Say you want to rekey it to this key. So you put in the working key, you rotate it 180 degrees. You take your learn tool, put it in, push, you feel it, hear it click. You would remove the old key, and then you would take your new key and you'd want to insert it all the way in, and then turn it all the way over, all the way back, and it's not essentially rekeyed, it is rekeyed, where the old key will no longer work. Okay, so now say you're doing this, you rotate it over, you push your learn tool in, you hear it click, and you pull your old key out, and say you take your old key and you screw up, you only put it in, not quite all the way, and then you rotate it over, rotate it back, and then you pull it out. Now your new key doesn't work, and your old key doesn't work. So now you can go to the hardware store for a couple dollars and have them reset it, go to a locksmith for a couple more dollars, have them do it, or have one actually come out for a lot more dollars to do it. Or you can do it yourself here. And then do it yourself, what you have to do is you have to be able to get it out of the doorknob or out of the deadbolt, which if you can't get that far, I wouldn't even try doing the rest of this. And there's a little clip, take the clip off, the actual cylinder comes out. And you actually have a clip on the back of that as well. So, gotta pop that off, and then you've actually got to get the actual plug out of this housing here. And these are your little wafers right here that actually are set to the key. And for this to come out, those have to all be pushed in. So you got to take something pointy, it'll fit in there. And you basically just have to push them in. These will actually press down. And once you get them all depressed, you see I'm trying to, with my thumb and finger here, I'm actually trying to push this piece actually out of it. So what will happen is when you push each one down, you're putting pressure on it so they can't pop back up, and then when they're all out of the way, it'll actually slide up one notch. And you just have to keep doing this until you get it out. So from here I'm going to just fast forward. Okay, and for time's sake I cheated and used learn tool. That just got to push them down one by one and pull them out. Now what's going to happen here is this is actually a cassette that actually has your wafers in it, and this actually comes off. So what you want to do is this top piece comes off. Pay attention to how this is oriented, because it can fit both ways, but this is the right way. So you're going to pay attention to how that's oriented when you take it off. Now there's two little springs in here. These springs, there's one here and one here. Those shouldn't fall out, but they can, so keep an eye on those. You don't want to lose those. Now the easiest way to do this is to put pressure on it, flip it upside down, and then this cassette actually comes off. Okay. And what you have here is these act as your driver pins or top pins in a regular pin tumbler lock. And then what you have here, one of them fell off. These are your little wafers that actually have the different cuts for the different depths of a Kwikset key. And this is all it is. These aren't as substantial as the brass pins are that are inside a normal pin tumbler lock. So what you need to do now is we got to actually put this into the learn mode so you can actually set it to a key. And you notice how these go in. Now these are all in there the right way. And the one that fell out, we need to put that in the right way. And if they all fall out, no big deal. You just got to put them back in. You know, tweezers makes it easier, and it's also easier not trying to do it through a camera lens. Okay, so now that they're all in there, so we get this to focus here. See how we've got the little groove right here. This is where you need all lined up. And like this, you can take your learn tool or back of a lockpick or something, and sorry, I'm trying to do this through the camera. You know, you've got them all in. Take one of these, or take the pick or something. You need these all lined up to where that groove. See where the big groove on these is all even with this kind of groove in the cassette. And then what you're going to do is, you don't want those to move at all right now. And you're going to very carefully turn this around here. I'm sorry here, I'm trying to still do this to the camera. I might have moved some, so make sure they're all lined up in the right place here, because it's all got to be lined up with that little groove. And you're going to take the rest of your housing here. You can see where the spring goes in that little spot right here. And you're basically going to push this in. Sorry here, this is a lot easier without the camera in the way here, but so some of them moved here, so you got to make sure that they're all lined up in that channel. And then you've got to take it, push the spring in, and push this on so it's actually flush, and then you're going to pull it back like so. And we'll take our piece here, and we paid attention to how it came off. Put it on the same way, because it will fit either way, but only one way will fit back into the larger housing. So that fits in there like that. Now, when this is slid back like this, and you're holding it back with your fingers, it's spring loaded, it's trying to push back to the front. This is essentially in the learn mode. So then you can take a key, insert the key, let it slide back up, and now this is essentially rekeyed. Okay, and then you're going to put it back in your housing here. You can actually flip around. That little hole would line up with that sidebar. So put it in, and then the lock, this should actually turn if the key is working. So you got it in there. Now here's an important part. You have to be really careful here. The key's only going to come out in one position, so you got to make sure you hold your thumb on it. So when you find that position where the key will come out, the whole inside doesn't come out with it and dump those wafers everywhere. If it does, no big deal. You just start over. Okay, so now we got our key out, and now put our clip back on, and then now that the clip's back on, the inside's not going to come out, so you can put your key in, and the key should work, and no other key should work, so it's essentially rekeyed. And then this will only fit back in the housing really one way. This is on a doorknob and a deadbolt. It'll be a little bit different, but if you, like I said, if you can get to this point, that shouldn't be a part that you have trouble with. And you're going to put this clip back on the back of it here, going either way, as long as it's on there. That's going to keep the whole thing in the assembly. And then it's essentially, well, not essentially, once again, I mean, it is rekeyed. Okay, and then the old key won't work. And if you did want to rekey it, you do it right. You put in the key that works, turn it 180, push this in. Make sure it's 180 here. Push this learn tool in. You can feel it and hear it click. Pull the old key out, and you make sure you insert the new key. Make sure it's all the way in, and then you turn it. and it's rekeyed. Now the old key will not work, but your new key will. Okay, that's how you rekey one of these. You know, if it doesn't have a key to it at all, or if you make a mistake rekeying it to where neither key works, you can either take it to a hardware store. They can use a tool to do this, or a locksmith, or you can you know, kind of handy. You can take it apart and do it that way. So anyway, that's all for now.